Welcome to our Ayurveda talk tonight. I like to have our talks kind of match what's going on. And if you live on in the northern hemisphere, we are in spring. So, we are dealing with kapha symptoms. Kapha is the elements of water and earth. And like I explained last week, what's happening is snow is melting in the mountains. All the debris from fall and winter is being pulled into our streams, and that same process is happening inside of us. So what starts to happen? We start to experience those kapha symptoms. So I want to talk a little bit about when you are dealing with a change in season. There's always a simple way that Ayurveda works. You can always work on applying opposites. So no matter what season you're in, and if you don't know anything about Ayurveda, I spend so much time, you guys, explaining these are the elements. You're made up of the elements. This is what it means. Because people in the West, they kind of go, their eyes kind of gloss over and they go, what? What? Like, oh, she's one of those weird granola people. And I'm not. I'm not granola. I've never been that way. I'm not. But I'm in a granola field. It's not really granola, but that's how people in the West interpret it. So Ayurveda, though, remember, it's been around thousands of years. If it was malarkey, it would have disappeared a long time ago, but it's not. These principles are tried and true. Why? Because it's nature. They're the principles of nature, and that means you. So we are dealing with kapha symptoms. We are coming out of winter, which the dominant elements in the actual atmosphere was ether and air, harsh. Okay, those are harsh, subtle. They make outside cold and dormant and harsh. Now we are moving into spring. In fact, we're in the middle of a snowstorm right now, a really wet one. And so we are now experiencing kapha symptoms. So what are the attributes of kapha? Water and earth together, or what we call in Ayurveda, kapha. Okay, so kapha is heavy, and that means that you start in your body, you literally will feel heavy. Now, if you were born as a dominant kapha constitution, this is kind of your natural state. This is how you normally feel. You really need to do an Ayurvedic cleanse in the spring to help remove these heavy qualities that you might be experiencing. So heaviness, a little like weight gain might start to happen. People who have kapha going on in their body are moving slower. Not only are they moving slower, everything slows down. Digestion slows down. Metabolism slows down. All of our systems start slowing down. Why? Because kapha is growth. So we have all that debris that's coming into our bloodstream, our energy channels, our lymph. It's coming into there, this heavy quality, and starts to make us feel heavy and slow. And then it might actually start affecting your circulation. So you might start noticing, God, I'm cold. I'm feeling cold because those kapha symptoms are damp and heavy and wet and moist. That's how it starts showing up. You also might start feeling a little more oily. Like you might have a little bit more oiliness going on in your hair, in your skin, possibly, even in your stool. Okay. Like I said, damp. Because of that dampness, the cool damp causes congestion. So that's why a lot of people get colds in the spring. So congestion starts happening. You get congested in your sinuses, congested in your chest. That's typically where kapha shows up, and congested in your throat. And maybe even your head feels congested, like you're not thinking right. With more of the kapha, like I said, you'll feel even dense. Dense even can translate into mental and emotional. So you become mentally heavy, mentally more dense. You're just not computing things as quickly. It takes you a little more time to kind of process and integrate information or even emotionally react. When you have a lot of kapha going on in your body, that can start also happening. And it's affecting all of our layers. Remember, we are not just a physical body, you have all these layers that make up who you are. We become more sedentary when we're dealing with a lot of kapha symptoms. So you find yourself just not wanting to get up and move, not wanting to exercise, not you just kind of want to be a couch potato. I kind of been experiencing that in the last couple days, feeling a little heavier, a little more like, oh, I almost feel a little depressed, like emotional. That's what happens. And then we've got weather going on outside where we've had a snowstorm for this last few days, and it's still going today. So that even makes you feel even more that way. It also, kapha can start build up in the tissues that makes things kind of sticky and mucky and gummy. And so you might be noticing that there's this like, it's almost like viscosity, right? Which there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a stickiness, and it can be making you feel even like you're stuck and more stiff. Okay, cloudy, like cloudy mind, cloudy body, especially in the morning. A lot of people call it foggy brain. So that will happen, especially in the morning during kapha time of day. Kapha time of day is between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. Get up before 6 in the spring. Do yourself a favor. Get up early. Do not wake up during that kapha time. It's going to be even harder. Okay, so people who are dealing with a lot of kapha symptoms might have cravings towards sweet taste. You got to stay away because sweet is going to make you feel heavier. So no sweet taste. Also, salty is something that you might be craving. And for some of us, that might be a good thing if your digestion's a little off, but you do have to watch it. Salt helps stimulate digestion. It also helps absorption of nutrients, but it isn't all about growth, and it can give energy, just like the sweet taste. But you got to be careful because it can cause retention and swelling. And retention and swelling is part of the kapha symptoms. Okay, so what do we do? What do we do if we've got these kapha symptoms? And especially if you know you want to do the spring cleanse. Spring cleanse, you guys, this Thursday, get online, 6 o'clock. Anybody can join. It's only a drop-in fee. And everybody should do some form of a Ayurvedic cleanse or simple cleanse. It's no problem. And I will individualize them for you as much as I can. Now, if you're a young child, you cannot do cleanses. Or if you're elderly, you cannot do cleanses. Or if you're dealing with a debilitating condition, you cannot do cleanse, right? Everybody else, we can do it. Okay, so what do we need to do to help kapha? Well, we want to make sure we get plenty of exercise first thing in the morning. Stimulate, wake up the body, wake up before 6 and exercise. Go for a brisk walk. Do some yoga, movement yoga, more intense yoga. This is the only time of the year that I will tell people it's okay to do hot yoga right now. Why? Because we need the stimulation and we need the heat. So you can go out and do hot yoga in the morning. Go for it. Okay, avoid heavy foods. Avoid sweet foods, foods that are dense, heavy meats, cheese. Get it out of your diet right now. Stay really active. That'll also help your mind. Vary your routine. Now, if you're a vata, you cannot do this. If you're not sleeping at night, you cannot do this. But if you're really dealing with heavy kapha symptoms, then you want to kind of break things up. Do something new. Do something that you haven't normally do. Go out in the evening and go dancing or whatever. Do something that you haven't done. Bring in new activities right now. This is the time of the year to plant our seeds of intention. I will tell you guys this every week right now. Do it, do it, do it. Here's when you want to do your New Year's resolution right now, because this is when you can plant seeds and the energy of spring will support you forward. So do your vision board now. Write in your journal, what do I really want? Like, get clear about what you want and then have it written down, put it by your bed. And then when you wake up in the morning, you look at that. And when you go to bed at night, you look at that so that you know you're planting these seeds of intention within your own energy. Okay, the other thing that you want to do is avoid all dairy during this time of year. It's heavy. Avoid all iced food and drinks. Causes constriction. You're already dealing with that with kapha. Cold and heavy. We want to break that up. So warm is stimulating. We shouldn't have ice anyway. No ice. Okay, avoid fatty foods. Avoid oily foods. Can't have it right now. We eat light in the spring, very light. And we like lower our portions. So if you're used to a big plate, you go to a small plate. So we want to have smaller portions of what we're eating, and you don't eat it late at night because you want your body to be able to digest, right? You're dealing with sluggish digestion, sluggish metabolism in the spring. We want to digest. In order to do that, you don't eat heavy foods and you don't eat a lot and you don't eat late at night. Okay, so as soon as it's 6 o'clock, you're done. You're done. You don't eat anymore. And then if you go to bed earlier, you guys say you go to bed at 8, you want to eat no later than 4 or 5. Okay, so that's what we do. We eat light and we want to make sure that we're paying attention to the qualities of kapha and we apply opposites, right? Doesn't matter what season you're in. You're always dealing with, these are my symptoms. This is what I'm dealing with. What's the opposite of that? So I can bring myself into balance. If I'm overheated all the time, okay, I want to cool myself down. If I'm feeling intense all the time, okay, I want to be more playful. Okay, so if you have any questions, reach out to me. Please join the Ayurvedic cleanse on Thursday night. It starts at 6. It's just open, and I will be talking about the different stages of Ayurvedic cleanse. And then you can ask all your questions. You can email them, and I will answer them for you. And you can also get the recording after. So if you can't make it, I can always send you the recording. Okay, so this is our talk for tonight. We're going to get going into our practice. And yes, we are kind of doing a mixed class because we're dealing with really stormy day. And I want to make sure everybody is coming into balance with that. So we're using our Ayurvedic principles in our yoga practice. So it will still be kapha reducing, but we're really going to focus more on calming the vata.